Hi there, my name is ruubzy and welcome to Minecraft Building Lessons. This video is the first of a series that I'm planning to make aimed at teaching you how to become a better builder in Minecraft. We'll go from the very basics to some more advanced and extreme tips in later videos, but since this is the first video, we'll start at the absolute beginning. Shapes. Just for a quick guideline, I'm going to assume that when you currently build a house, it looks a little something like this box. It can be without the glass, it can be a bit smaller or bigger, but mostly like this box, or a box with a party hat. The easiest and fastest way to improve your house is by giving the shape of your building a bit more thought. And that is what we're focusing on today. I've subdivided this video into two parts, being walls and roof, so if you want to skip ahead or come back to a certain section, you can do so by checking the video progress bar or the timestamps in the description. That's enough of a heads up, I'd say, so let's get into Minecraft Building Lesson 1. Shapes. Starting off with walls. When it comes to walls in your Minecraft structures, you have loads of different shapes you can choose. They're laid out right in front of us, but we can't really see it from this angle, so let me show you in greater detail. When you're really thinking about it, these shapes can mostly boil down to 5 different options. These are your squares and rectangles. Then we have these shapes with 5 or more corners, being your L, T or U shapes, for example. Or if you're really going all out, maybe even an E or an S. Then we have circles, which are often used for towers. You have the diagonals, which can be really difficult to decorate. And lastly, we have a freeform, often existing out of 2 or more of these previous options. I want to touch on the size of a building as well here. When you're starting out trying to put more thought into your buildings, you need to think about this size. Now this can vary depending on the place where you want to build the structure, the reason why you're building it, or even the amount of available blocks you have in your survival world. Whatever the case, when you're building flat walls, meaning continuous straight walls, be careful not to make them too big or small. The smallest I'd personally go can be seen right over here with the 5 blocks. This way the inside of your house will be 3 blocks wide, which is just enough to cram a bunch of stuff up in there. And the biggest can be a bit more lenient with a caveat, and the caveat being details. But since detailing is going to be covered in a later video, I would opt for now to keep the length of your walls at 21 blocks maximum. Preferably even smaller. I believe the E, like the left side of the E, is 21 blocks over here, and it's going to be quite tough to make it look good if you're not detailing it correctly. But it can still work. Just keep in mind that the bigger a flat wall is, the more boring it's going to look. Another reason to keep your walls smaller is because when you're building, you might know this already, but the roof can be one of the most difficult parts to build. And that is going to be even more difficult to make look good if your walls are huge. For a rectangle, something like a 7x11 house works really well, you can't really go wrong with that. A quick thing to point out here, I am mentioning a lot of odd numbers, and that's because when working with odd numbers, it means that later on while making the roof meets up in the middle with a singular block. This makes it a bit easier to make a good looking roof. Even numbers can work too, and I'll show you an example of that in the roof section, but in case you notice a lot of odd numbers, that is why. Touching on size again for the walls over here, just between 5 and 21 is what I would aim for now. Circles really depend on what you're trying to do with them, since when you're making a dome, you likely want to go pretty big. But when you're making just a cylindrical tower for let's say a wizard's tower, a slightly smaller diameter is probably going to be best for you. Diagonals once again pretty much go with the same rules as these squares, but I would aim to make them a bit less big, because for example the 7 blocks in a diagonal is a bit longer than 7 blocks in a straight line. We have the Pythagorean theorem to thank for that. Lastly, in the freeform shapes, rules are optional. Except for once again making it too big or too small, because that's going to be quite tough with the roof. Now how tall these walls needs to be is a bit more difficult to say, but rule of thumb for a house meant for survival purposes, I would go between 4 and 7 blocks tall per floor. So if you're making a house with 3 floors, the walls should be between 12 and 21 blocks tall. Now let's build up these walls, and there are also multiple different things you can do here that I'll show you once these walls are built up, which through the power of video editing is right now. So I built a lot of walls just out of stone. I didn't want to use any other material because I don't want to focus on detailing in this video, simply these shapes and, well, roofs in a little bit. But what I wanted to show you, as you might have seen, in terms of height, you don't need to be attached to the shape you begin with. The very first example down the line over here is with the rectangular house. I just decided to kind of split it up through the middle and then raise up 1/2 to the 2nd floor. That way we can have a little interesting shape instead of it being just simply a box. The easiest way to to decide what kind of parts of the house you want to raise up is with the houses with 5 or more corners. You can see for the L-shaped house, I just kept it as 1 floor. With the T-shaped house, I decided this bit over here I wanted to raise up. At first I had it the whole top section of the T house, but I kind of wanted to show that you don't need to do the whole shape either. You can just put something like this, and then when we get the roofs on, we have 1 roof over here, and then 1 over there, which is gonna look probably pretty cool. With the U-shaped house, yeah, this is still the U-shaped house, as you might be able to see from above. Decided to go up to the 3rd floor on this side over here, raise this part up to the 2nd floor, keep this as the 1st, and then go to the 2nd floor with that little section over there. Just kind of, as you can see from above, made a few separations here and there and decided, you know what, this is going to look nice. My advice here is just go through the trial and error phase. Some houses may look good, some houses may not look so good with the shape. Me personally, I just try shapes out, see if they work well, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. If you really want to get better at building, you need to fail sometimes too. Anyways, with a house like this, I will be sure to have an interesting roof shape as well, and automatically it will look a little bit more interesting than just a box. For these circles over here, or I guess you would call them cylinders right now, I just went up with 2 floors on this one and 3 on that. Because with circles it can be really quite difficult to decide which part of it you'll raise up more, if that makes sense. Then for the diagonals, this is a style that's not for everyone, to be quite honest. For the 45-degree angle, I decided to just keep it at 1 floor. And then I believe this would be like a 15-degree angle or something like that. I decided to once again split it through the middle, kind of showcasing that you can do that with diagonals, but once again it can be quite tricky to make it look good. And then finally for the free-form shape, let's go all the way from above. This was a weird shape. I decided to once again just divide it into sections that make sense in my head. So first of all, over here we have a half circle. I know I can probably get a roof on that looks sort of good. Then we got just a square over here, a rectangle over here. I raised up this rectangle a little bit more. And then we have a small diagonal over here, which I probably just with the roof will connect up like that. You'll see in a little bit. Well, I say in a little bit, it's actually right now, because we'll go on to part 2 of this video, roofs. Roofs, just like walls, also come in a lot of different shapes, and the most used one is the A-frame roof. By the way, I copied over this whole design over there, because if you want to try this world out for yourself, I'll be sure to leave a world download in my Discord server. Link in the description if you want that. Anyways, the gable is the most used roof type, and for that reason I decided to give you a few examples over here. These roofs are made out of straight diagonal lines that reach up to a singular point in the middle, and the pitch of these houses can be different. As you can see over here, you can have one with a high pitch, a normal pitch, and a low pitch, meaning that the roof is higher or lower, obviously. And then over here to the side, I kind of made one out of slabs, being a slab over here, full block, 2 slabs, full block, 2 slabs, all the way up to the middle, which can look a little bit better than this one over here, in my opinion. And then I also got one with an even amount of blocks, because with this one, especially over here with these stairs, it also quite nicely leads up to the middle. But as I mentioned before, I do find the even roofs a bit more tricky to work with. It's up to you though. Another option we have is the flat roof, which right now is just a line, but you have to imagine that it goes all the way around. This one can be a bit harder to make look good, but it can certainly be a viable option for certain styles, especially when making like a roof garden. Then we have mono-pitched roofs, and also the clerestory. I think you call it the clerestory, but this one is basically 2 mono-pitched roofs on one house. I kind of put like a fence over here to resemble where the wall would go. So on one side of the house you have this, then this kind of moves up to the 2nd story and goes like that. I'll be sure to use all of these roof designs, by the way, on the houses behind me, so you'll see in a little bit. These are the hipped roofs, which are like the party hats that I showed in the beginning. I like the hip roof, especially for a diagonal wall, because you don't have to go through the hassle of trying to create a straight line on a diagonal. It's already been done for you, because this already is the diagonal, if that makes sense. And then lastly we have curved roofs. These are kind of variations of the roofs I've mentioned before, but they also include domes, cones and spires. But just a quick heads up, these domes, cones and spires can be really tricky and require a lot of feeling for what to do. But basically over here as well, just experiment with them a lot until you find something that works for you. Now let's go through all of these and place them on our walls. And while we're doing that, I'll go over some other tips and tricks concerning these roofs. I would personally, and this is in 90% of all cases, start on the side of the house, go all the way to one or two of these sides and overhang them. And this is kind of the first choice you need to do. You can choose to overhang your houses, or you can choose to kind of just build them up like so and have them flat to the wall. Both styles are viable options, but I personally just really like overhanging a lot more because I can get a lot more detail out of that. And since we have these stairs going like so, it means that the house is going to continue like this. And then we can have the stairs going up to the middle. And then what I like to do is have the top part be a slab, because I think that suits the best. And for this one, I'll finish the entire roof, go all the way to the back, but to save some time later on, I won't do it for all of the houses, just a quick heads up. Now, when you do overhang your roofs, it is quite important, to me at least, to make it look better, to have something on the bottom. I quite like going with some upside down stairs and one like this in the middle, because it gives it a nice thickness that I think suits this house particularly well. And personally, I would say already this looks quite nice. Let's do the same on the back as well. And dependent on the roof type, like the bottom section of the overhang, you can put like upside down stairs like this, slabs, fence gates, traps, doors. There's quite a lot you can do over here. For example, on the back over here, let's do the trapdoors and open them up like so. So this is quite a different type of style. It is once again not for everyone, but it can work in certain situations. And I'm gonna do something right away, which is kind of leaning into detailing, but it is such a small step and is such an improvement that I wanted to show you right away. I can actually showcase it on our intro house over here because it will make it look a little bit better. Just for the borders of the roof, pick a different block. In this case, I'll go with stone bricks because they look similar to the cobblestone but aren't the same. And I just follow the line all the way around until we get back over here. And then for this one, what I'll do is on like the diagonal, replace these ones as well, all the way to the top slabs over here, and then do this for each of the corners. Kind of all this does is it creates an outline for your roof, which makes the shape come out a bit more. But in my opinion, it also makes the roof look a lot better. For the square house we just finished over here, let's pick up some spruce wood and do the same thing. And I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna look better with some blocks than with others. You'll just have to, once again, I'm sorry for this, trial and error. But I'm just replacing the corners over here, also do the underside of the overhang, so this way we'll give our roof a nice edge. And then in the middle, let's replace the slabs over here like so. And to be quite fair, it already looks quite nice. Like literally all we could do right now is remove these two blocks over here, get ourselves a door and place it like so, and you have a decent looking house. Of course, I wouldn't go with all stone, but if this is your fancy, why not? For this one, I'm going to go with the lower pitched A-frame roof as well as a flat one. Let's start with the lower pitch on the top floor over here. So with the spruce, because we're going to do the edge over here, let's go like so. Pop them out by one. And then from here, I'll go with double slabs. So this is a double slab. This is technically a full block. Double slab, full block. Like so. And then down again with a double slab, a full block, a double slab, and then a slab over here. Go all the way to the back and do the same thing. And in the middle, this is actually kind of a full block, but I'll just go with these slabs. And then just fill them in with your oak. There we go. And then all that's left to do over here is to fill in the walls. And there is our lower pitched A-frame roof. I'm not sure if this actually has a different name, but that's just what I like to call it. So for the flat roof, I've given ourselves a little floor over here because we can turn it into a balcony. But it kind of just looks better out of stone instead of wood, because the flat roof, in my opinion, just goes on top of the stone itself. I know that roofs go on top of walls as well, just let me finish here. So what I'll do over here is I'll get some stone bricks and also some stone brick slabs, because we can just put a little border like so, and it looks fine. But something else that I like to do is to kind of make it like some sort of old castle wall feeling. I mean, you probably know what I mean. You've seen this millions of times if you played Minecraft for a little bit. And I think that looks just a little bit better than simply the slabs over here. You can also decorate it with torches, lanterns or candles for some light or anything other like a flower pot, which is something you cannot place on these slabs over here. Moving on to our L-shaped roof, I'm thinking let's try to go for the Claire story. Starting on the longer side over here, let's go with the stairs all the way to this side over here. Overhang them as well, of course. And then I think it's easier to do from this side over here. Let's overhang them. Let's see, we're now in line with the wall over here. Let's go one further. And from this side over here, we can just go to the back. Well, I guess it's actually the front. And then we can build this up to the same point. And let's see, actually, I'm going to replace the top part with slabs. So I think that just looks a little bit better. And then give them the thickness on the bottom. And then build up the walls on this side. So this is going to go all the way up to here, like so. Obviously we have to like fill this in as well. Then from this side over here, let's go with these slabs, like so. Overhang them by one as well. And then double slab, full block, double slab, full block, up until the wall. Do the same over here, up until the wall. And we can fill in the gaps over here with the wall. And then build up the roof itself with our oak. And obviously fill in this part with their oak stairs as well. And then we have something that looks a little bit like this. This side over here might look a little bit weird to some people. To be quite frank, I think it would look a little bit better if this was a rectangular shape. Not to say that it looks bad, but you have like a big open area over here. And I probably, if this was my survival world, would place a little like decoration over here, like a tree or something. But as I mentioned while showcasing the Claire story, this is basically just two mono pitch roof. This one goes up to here and this one goes up to there. Now for this one, let's just go with every single pitch of the A-frame roof, because it's going to show something weird over here in a little second. Let's start with the top one though, and let's do the high pitch one. Me personally, I'd start the same way over here with just these stairs on the side. But then when you place your upside down stair over here, I would go with a block in the middle, then a stair. Then the same thing, upside down stair, block in the middle, stair like so. Then this is the middle part, so I'll go upside down stair, block in the middle, and then a slab up top. Let's go back the same way, so we have a stair, block, upside down over here, stair, block, and upside down over here, and then just the stair on the side. Continue this to the other side. Once more, upside down stair over here, full block, stair, upside down stair, full block, stair, and then upside down stair like this, full block, slab. Then from this upside down stair, over here place a stair right side up, full block, upside down stair, stair right side up, full block, upside down stair, and then a stair like so to connect it up to the roof. Then get in our oak, and when you kind of don't know which blocks to use for filling in the roof, I just look to the borders over here. This is why I do the borders first. This is a full block. I guess we'll have a full block all the way to the other side. Now we have a stair over here. I guess we'll do the stair to the other side. Then over here you have a choice to make. You could either fill in this with oak and then the top layer with spruce, or get spruce for both to make a thicker border. So this one is the spruce and this one is the oak. Both work. You can even go crazy and like replace some of these with some full blocks to kind of make a little woo, if you know what am I doing? Let's just keep it like this for now, and no, I won't do the back to kind of save myself on time. I will fill in this part over here though. Well, let's see, let's do the A-frame roof on that side and then this one on this side. Starting off with the regular stair over here. Just like so, we've done this before, upside down, regular, upside down, regular, until we are in the middle. This is the middle part. Upside down stair like this, slab up top, and then going down again. And for roofs like these, it is quite difficult to decide where to stop them. Me personally, I would just stop them at the wall or one further, and you can even twist them like so. Like so. It's kind of up to you. I think I'll leave it like this for now. Let's fill in just the front, because that's the part we are worried about, like so. And then with the slabs, when you are trying to put one over here, you can see that it won't really fit. But if you were to continue this slab, it would go in here, and then the stair would go up top, meaning that in total you would get a full block, because the slab continues like so, the stair continue like so, and this way it looks normal again. So the slabs all the way to the front, We'll do the same old, all the way back here, connecting the slab up to the wall over here. And there we go. Every single different pitch on this house. We have the low pitch in the front, the normal pitch on the side, and then the high pitch up top. For all of these kinds of roof, they work on smaller builds in my opinion, but the bigger a build, the more difficult it's going to be. Because let's say if your wall is like 15 blocks wide, and you want to go for this one, it's going to be really tall if you just build it up like so, because this is only 1, 2, 3. So it will be more than twice as tall as this one. So you will have a really large roof. So keep that in mind when choosing the style. Maybe a roof like this or a flat roof could look a little bit better on a really large house. For this U-shaped house, I'm just going to mix it up quite a lot. Okay, so with this one, I've made it so that the walls are 6 blocks. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's make the roof like this way. That way we'll have an even number. It is easiest to make look good with the normal A-frame roof. So let's build this one up until we are somewhat in the middle. This is kind of like the middle part. And then let's build it up from this side until we are here. And this is kind of like a perfect roof, right? For the A-frame it works really nice. Just for the middle part, be sure to get both of these stairs to here. And there we go. As you can see, the even number works really well with this kind of roof. It also can work really nice with just a flat roof, because that one isn't really dependent from like the number of blocks you use. But with these ones it can look a little bit odd. With the slabs it can look a little bit odd as well. This one is obviously also quite fine with like a clerestory or a monopitch roof, because that one also doesn't really matter how many blocks wide you do it. I guess what I want to say is just keep in mind that if your walls are an even number, it isn't always going to line up perfectly in the middle. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, we have this right now. Let's do a hipped roof on this one. For these hip roof, just keep in mind that the smaller the roof is going to be, the better it's going to look, because I don't know, I can't really scientifically explain this one. It just looks a lot better when it is small. Like a roof like this looks quite fine in my opinion. And I also want to emphasize you don't need the like borders. Let's actually for this one just get it all out of spruce, except for the back, because we won't see that anyways. This can also look quite fine. Let's get just a flat roof over here. Let's do some cobble actually, and I'll turn this one into a roof garden. You can get some grass blocks or some moss blocks, doesn't really matter which one. Fill those in like so, and then whatever plants you want, fill them in over here. I'm just going to go with some short grass, some ferns, and maybe some azaleas. Just a little something like that. Then we have kind of an awkward space over here. I'd personally just go with a normal A-frame roof or one out of slabs. A hipped roof could work over here as well, or a flat roof of course could work as well. But something quite different you can do is a flat roof, but don't place it on top of the wall. Elevate it. I'm just going to connect it from over here all the way to up here. And then above this wall as well. And let's create a little border like so, and then fill them in with the oak like this. And then I'll get myself some fences. Let's do spruce fences and connect those up to some of the walls over here. Let's do one on this corner piece over here. Let's give it a floor as well. Like this, we can have a little balcony. We can also go all the way around with the fences. Like so, it might look a little bit better. And also place in some fence gates. You can like kind of thicken out the borders like so over here. But that way we have ourselves a little balcony over here. And it doesn't look as good as it can with some more detailing, but I just wanted to show the option. Alright, moving on to the circular houses over here. Let's put a roof on them. I'm going to go with the cone over there, which is kind of similar to the hipped roof, because I'm going to do slabs. And what I like to do over here is to start on the side of these blocks with a slab like so. And then just go all the way around until you come back over here to the front. And then just on top of the walls, place the next slab all the way around like so. And then when you're here, it is basically just as simple as you could even use a full block over here following the inner layer. So now we have a layer over here. Let's place our blocks up against these slabs over here. Once again going all the way around until we meet up like so. And then from there on out we just continue up to the middle. And for corners like these over here, what I like to do is just put something like this and then continue onward. So here we have another layer finished, and then we just move on to the next one. And from here to the next. And then at some point, most often, you just kind of end up with a square. And what you can do to kind of mix up the shape from here on out is just place in some corners in the middle over here. So when we do something like this, you still somewhat get a square, because right now I think we can go full blocks. You can place them in like so. And we end up with another square. But then to counter that, we can just place them like so. And then over here, we'll just finish it up with a little cross, which is hard to see on camera. There we go, we kind of created our slabbed cone shape, which is pretty much the hipped roof. Let me show you one more trick actually before we move on to this one, what you can do over here. Actually, let's go over here and remove this section. If you want to continue your tower in a little bit of a smaller area, you can actually just continue from over here. Let's do something like this. Let's raise this part up as well. And now you have a smaller tower extruding from the roof over here. And you can even do the same thing and place a little roof on this one as well. Let's just do that really quickly, following the same principles as with the roof down below. And let's just finish it off like so. It kind of looks cute. Let's now on this tower try to go for the spire. Just a quick heads up, this is going to be quite tough and difficult to understand. So looking at the spire, we go from like flat over here to steeper, 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 steepest up over there. So let's start off the same way over here with these slabs on the outer layer. If you want to make it really thin, you could even go with trapdoors over here. Then let's go with some stairs and place them on these blocks like so. And then for this part over here, I'll actually just go with a full block. On the layer inside from that, let's move it up with some full blocks as well. I don't currently have them equipped, but let's actually go with some spruce fences and place those in the corners over here. To kind of thicken it out a little bit. Then inside over here, let's go with another layer of full blocks. But the middle ones, let's push them up by 2. And then over here, we could go either with stairs and place them kind of like so, but I'll just continue going with the spruce fences over here. And to kind of make it a nice shape over at this side, let's get some slabs and place those on the middle parts over here. And this is kind of what I meant with it's quite difficult to understand. You really kind of need to get a feeling for this stuff. When over here, let's close it off over here and go up with, let's do 2 full blocks. No, let's actually do 3 full blocks. Let's create a little border of fences over here. Kind of make the shape go like so. And then when we have the full blocks over here, let's go up top and get like 2 more fences as well. Stepping back, I think the ending on the spire isn't really that good. Let's remove this full block. Let's remove the top one as well and get the spike over there. It looks a little better, but I think it could still be quite a bit nicer. Let's actually get ourselves a wall. I'll go with the mud brick wall because the color is quite similar to the spruce. Place that one over there. Looks a little better, but I think we have to kind of lower it a little bit. Now remove the fences that were over here. There was just something about this part that didn't really look nice to me. I think we need to do something like this and then get some trapdoors and maybe put those around here. And I think that does the trick for me, at least. So once again, over here, a lot of trial and error. It's really important to note that the changes you make do not need to be permanent. Really try something out everywhere. If you don't like it, remove it, start over. Building is a learning process. Once again here, I really urge you to go to the Discord, get the download link for this world, and just take a look for yourself. Let's continue over to the diagonal houses over here, starting with the full diagonal one. And we're going to do the hipped roof that I have talked about over here. I like to do it with slabs because it makes it a bit less steep. So that's what we're going to do right now. Once again, just on the outside of the blocks, place the slab like so. And do that all the way around. That should look like this. Then once again, on top of the walls over here, just follow your lines. And we could go with the full block, you can go with a slab, it's up to you. It's a bit easier to place the full blocks over here, but that's what I'll do. And just keep following your diagonal lines. Now we have the slabs again, so place your slab over here, then like so, and just keep on removing the middle one because you don't need it. You only need it to place down your blocks until it connects up over here. Then we have the full blocks again. Like this, the hole up top is just going to get smaller and smaller, so there's less to fill in every time. The greatest tip I can give you for this one is to keep removing the blocks you place in order to be able to place your new slabs like so. And then let's end it off just like so. And we have our little diagonal house over here. And I think it looks quite nice. So obviously, besides the hipped roof, one other really easy roof design you could do for a diagonal house is just a flat roof. You can make like a little garden over here as well. Let's just fill it up with some grass over here like that. But if you want to experiment and give your diagonal house an A-frame roof, you kind of just have to follow the same rules as before, but tweak it here and there. So let's go with the roof over here and overhang it. Then we'll just follow this wall over here, right until this point. And then now we have to pop it out by 1. So let's just do that like so. And continue over here. And you can choose to kind of make it look a bit more sturdy from the bottom, or kind of twist your stairs to match them like so. It's kind of up to you. I think what I'll do right here is connect it like so that this one twists around a little bit. Then I believe this is actually the middle part, so let's place our stair like so, with the slab up top. And then it's just the fact of going back down again, until we are on the side over here. When continuing this side of the roof over here, we'll have to just kind of twist it like so. Over here again. Back until this part. You can also choose to connect them up like this. It is kind of your preference over here. I think I'll actually do something like that right now. And over here on the back side, it is kind of the same principle. Like so, this is the middle because these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. So the third one is the middle. And then I find it a bit easier to go from the other side if you're not sure what to do exactly. But over here it goes up like so. And like this. And then for this one, I guess it is easier to pop the roof out a little bit more. Maybe something like this will work. Because we'll do the inside out of oak, I'll advise to place the oak like so. Yes, it will shine through over here a little bit, but just keep in mind that diagonal houses are going to look a little bit odd to some people anyways. So don't worry about it too much. And over here, let's do the same as on the other side and pop them out like so. So when connecting up the roof, it is a bit more difficult. What I personally would do is go like this, and like this, just on top of the wall, and then twist the roofs to go into the like the other stairs so that you have no gaps over here. This is, in my opinion, the best way to do it, because otherwise you're going to have a weird roof shape when connecting them up like so. So I would stray away from that because it's going to be difficult. Do the same on this side. Let's just place these stairs like so. We have gaps over here, so let's close off those gaps. So once again, when moving one up, we have the 2 gaps over here. We need to remove those. Let's just go like that. Place the little block over here to be able to twist the stair like so. Let's see what we need to do over here. Actually, let's connect up the middle part first. We have 1, 2, 3. And over here we have 1, 2, 3. If I can place them correctly, that is. And then over here, once again, we have 1, 2, and 3 to connect up to there. Which leaves us with some odd spaces over here. We can now fill out like the way we did that down below, by twisting the stairs. Once again, bit difficult to perfectly show on camera, but it might be obvious to you when watching this, but it is quite difficult to explain what to do exactly. You just kind of need to follow the lines of the diagonal house. Quite difficult. These houses are always a little wonky, as you can see over here. It doesn't look perfect at all, but it works in certain situations. Then obviously for the walls over here, just close them off like so. Now, at last we have the final boss of this video, the freeform house. And I'm going to do something quite different we haven't done before over here. Let's first of all get this little diagonal and just fill it in with some slabs. I think that is the easiest way to make sure this looks good. There we go. Now for this part over here, I wanted to do something special. Let's go with our wall block and raise this up by 1. Then from here, go like this, and like that. Now what I'll do is something different with the roofs we haven't done before. Instead of hanging them over the wall as we have done for nearly every single one of these, I'm going to start on top of the wall and not overhang them at all. The kind of roof design I'm going for right now is still like an A-frame in the middle, but we have the little decoration of the wall on the outside, which is difficult to see because it's just a flat wall over here. I'm just going to go with all spruce over here because I think it's going to look a little bit better in the end than giving our house a border. And then with these slabs in the middle like so. And a design like this is quite popular for, let's say, a church or a cathedral or something like that. But what works really well over here is, for the tiniest bit of detail, place some stairs on top of these walls. And all of a sudden, we have ourselves kind of like a church wall. It's going to be quite tough, but let's try to make some sort of a sphere design over here. I'm actually going to start with placing some slabs on top of these walls over here. And then from here, because this is already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's try to continue this circle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. Then I'll just go 1, 2, 1 over here, and then 1, 2 to kind of connect it up to the wall. And let's just try to follow kind of these lines over here. And let's, because we are following this, go too high. Then we have the 1 over here. 1 like this. And like so. And then from here, let's just close this one off. So there we go. We kind of have a spherical roof over here. Let's make it a little bit sturdier by just adding some slabs like here. And maybe just a stair over there. Just kind of freestyling over here, sort of. But I think that looks quite fine. And that's what I'm going to leave it as of right now. So this one doesn't really work that well in this situation, if I say so myself. But it is something you can opt for. Once again, quite difficult to do, but I'm sure you can figure out a way. Okay, just to kind of end it off over here with things we haven't really done yet is let's try to get some curved roofs over here as well. For this one, let's go with one that goes like so. And then for this one, let's go with one that goes like so, if that makes any sense. I always like to start with just some stairs on the side. Let's go until there. Then let's do upside down. Start off with a block up top, then a regular stair. And just heads up, because this is like quite a small wall, it's not going to look as good as it can. Let's just do a normal stair, and then because this one is going to be quite small, finish it up with some slabs. Like so. We kind of have the idea over here. So basically all that curved roofs are is a mixture of the different pitches of the A-frame roofs. So we are starting off with a high pitch. Then normally I would go with like stairs over here and then finish it off to slabs, but this is what you would do for a high pitch roof. Then this section over here is what you would do for a normal pitch roof. And then this over here is kind of what you would do for a low pitch roof. And now with the blocks, just follow the ones that are over here. So we have full blocks, stairs, slabs, slab in the middle, and then do the same for the other side. And just finish off the wall inside. Like so. Misplaced a lot of blocks there. For the other one, let's just do it the other way around. Let's start off with our slabs actually. So we have slabs, let's place one over here, but then place a stair up top. Then get an upside down stair, regular one, and an upside down stair again. And now go into our full block, upside down stair. I believe this is the middle. So let's do an upside down stair over here, a full block, and a slab. So here we have kind of the shape going like so. Finish it off on this side. So here we have it the other way around, as you can kind of see like so. We have the this way, and then here we have the this way. Just place our slabs all the way to the other side, and do the same thing at the back once more, like so. And now we'll connect them up once again, but just following it like so. We have stairs up here as well. Then we have full block. That's the wrong color. Stairs next to this part over here as well. And then, as we have done before, all the way back here, yeah, you have the choice you need to make. Either way, you could go with full block of spruce, slab of spruce, or just spruce to finish up the entire top part. I'll just do the same as we've done before, so full block over here, and then the top out of some spruce slabs. And I've closed off the front wall as well. So there we go. And with all of these houses we have created today, that also kind of finishes off this video. This was only part 1 of the building lessons, just the really easy basics. Shapes in all ways they come. We have wall shapes, we have roof shapes, and then over there in the back, there's a place for you to try it out as well. So if you want to try to make some houses with these shapes I've laid out over there, make sure to visit the Discord server, for which the link is down in the description below, and download that world and showcase the builds you make. It is still quite a small Discord community, so make sure to say hi to the people there as well. I'm gonna be honest, there isn't really a lot of talking going on as of right now, but I hope that changes in the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe as well, because it will really help me out and it will keep you up to date with when the new videos are coming out. I hope you've learned some things while watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.